Love Your Brand podcast. If you're looking for real conversations with real people, you're the right place. Let's go!
Welcome, ladies and gents. Welcome to another fresh episode of the Pie in the What podcast. In these episodes, we just try to cover any trending topics or essentially anything that we want to talk about. Got anything to add, J Hill?
I think you nailed it, man. One topic that we're hearing a lot about right now, Jason, is SEO. You know, we've always had kind of some resistance and questions around SEO, and especially now with with AI, over this past year, AI is going crazy with things. SEO kind of seems like the one thing that people want to cut short, and they always want to, or they don't see the value, they don't see the relevance of how SEO can help their business. A lot of times most of the business owners we're talking to, they're looking for those quick wins. They're looking for those, if I spend $1, I want to make $1, and I want it overnight. I want it done yesterday. And a lot of people, there's those misconceptions about SEO and how it really is the long play and how it's not just an expense, it's actually an investment. So Jason, I'd suggest we kind of chat about SEO, how it's changed, how it's continuing to change, and what business owners and entrepreneurs, how they can leverage SEO today, because there's a lot of changes happening, but SEO is one of those things that you do not want to cut from your marketing toolkit.
Yeah. And we get it all the time. We've had clients, we've had other business owners, friends, family. Hey, Jay, I'm investing a couple thousand or 10,000 or whatever the amount is in SEO. What should I do? Like, I feel like I'm investing and, we're just kind of breaking even. And what you've got to understand nowadays, SEO is still very relevant, but not in an old way. Like you mentioned, it's investing, it's compounding over time. And I think a lot of people, they don't understand, unlike performance marketing, running meta ads or PPC, once you stop those, then that's it, right? There's no compounding value. There's no long game play. There's no organic visibility. So, I think it's very important to understand that, and the fact that if you stop and pause and you say, you know what, I want to take these funds and allocate them and maybe something different, maybe more performance, instant gratification or whatnot. And I'll just start back in 6 months. Well, you don't start back where you stopped. It doesn't work like that. It's not a stop-start mechanism, right? And a lot of people think that, oh, I'll just stop for a year. Oh, I'll just stop for 6 months. But what happens is when you go to start back, you're actually starting from way back. Way back. You have competitors that has leaped and jump frogs you and are eons ahead of you. You have a few that may have stopped as well, so maybe you're on an even playing field. But the ones that do not stop, that constantly adapt, and like I said, it has changed. The game has changed, and it's constantly changing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. That's what you got to do to be ahead of the game and competitive. Now that you have AI overviews, right? And LLMs, Perplexity, ChatGPT, you not only have to rank organically for SEO, you've got to rank organically for AI, right? So that's a shift in strategy. So now SEO has more of a hybrid approach, holistic approach.
Well, and Jason, we even had a few people that found us through ChatGPT, through AI, and the way how SEO is, because you have, what is it called? Position zero on Google. The old ways of showing up and ranking in SEO, you want to hit page number 1. You want to be at the top, those top 3. You have the paid positions and your SEO, you're going to be right under that. But now you're competing with the language learning models, the LLMs, that are at top. And your SEO is actually going to affect those results when somebody goes into these AI softwares and asks for whatever information they're getting. And so it's not an either or, it's a both and that you have to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear so often, I mean, SEO is the first thing that people cut. And, you know, like a decade ago when I started working kind of in digital marketing on my own, SEO is one of those things that I've been in marketing my whole career. SEO is one of those things I kind of avoided because it seems so confusing. I could build a website or branding or email marketing, social media, all those things, but SEO, it was like there's so much that changes with SEO on a daily basis. I didn't want to invest the time, money, resources to stay on top of it. And I think that's what so many business owners do. They don't understand it. And so therefore they just kind of run away from it instead. And they're leaving such a missed opportunity on the table. And there's different levels to play. You don't have to go in with an enormous budget to get SEO going. But like you said, you can't just cut it off cold turkey. It's like with PPC and social media ads, you can put a budget in there, you can turn on the ad spend, and it's like cutting the faucet on in the sink, and that water is just going to be flooding out. And whenever you cut it off, the water stops. But SEO, you can start with a small budget and imagine just cutting drip on the water to where it's just slowly trickling out, but you don't want it to stop. You just have to at least have some kind of movement, some kind of momentum going with SEO.
It's became almost modernized brand equity, brand presence, right? You're building layers. It's just not about SEO generating traffic, right? It's about generating brand presence across AI and traditional search, right? High quality, structured content. Optimized sites are now, you know, that's where you want to be. And what works in this new era, mobile first, fast loading sites, clear intentional links. With content, you've got to be super technical because you want to show up in the summary in the AI, but also now they're giving links to do follow throughs to your websites, both in Perplexity and ChatGPT. So it's just a different game, and it gets really muddy, right? When you try to attribute your ROI with SEO, yes, you can track and say, hey, this is from our organic footprint. This came from this video. This came from this. But you've got to associate it with brand presence as well, right? That's the only way you're going to see ROI through it. It's the long game and brand presence. So it's compounding investment. So
I think, yeah, Jason, as you talk about brand presence, something to focus on here is how the importance of branding as well with SEO. Because let's take any industry. Let's take dentist as an example. And so if we're going on Google and we're searching for dentist near me, or dentist Charlotte, North Carolina, 10 miles, whatever you want to search, typically SEO is how these dental offices are going to rank and show up number one. You're going to click on the site, you're going to call. You're going to check out their site a little bit, and then you're going to call them possibly. That's kind of the old way. But look at how AI, look at these things like Alexa and the devices, our smart devices in our homes, to where in the future, look at where this is going to go. This is going to go to where you talk to the smart speaker, the smart device in your home, and you say, Alexa, find me the top dentist in Charlotte, North Carolina, or near me. And Alexa is going to give you one dental office, and that's going to be based on who's spending the most money on SEO to pop up. And so if you're focusing on that aspect of it, you're going to have to pay a lot of money to rank number one for what's coming. And my point with all that is that brand is going to, I think, outweigh SEO, to where when a good brand is going to get their company out there, they're going to get all the things that matter to them, their values, the things that make them different from every other dental office down the road. And so therefore, you come top of mind when you need a dentist. In this example, you remember because you've seen how this brand showed up. You've seen how they showed up on social media. You've seen how other people are talking about them. And so if you're strictly relying on SEO, you're going to have a big budget to be able to play here in the future. brand is equally important to where, again, it goes into it's a both and so do the work, focus on the brand. That brand is always going to be your foundation that you have to start with. Somebody has to know what you stand for before you can start marketing, because you can throw a lot of money and you can get your brand out in front of people, but if they don't know who you are, what you stand for, all that stuff's going to be a waste of time, a waste of money if your brand hasn't been foundationally set first.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, depending on where your competition is, you made a valid point, Dennis, right? It's highly competitive. You got to spend a ton of money, you know, do the research. You've got to look at apples to apples. And you might not be in a position to where you can go dollar for dollar with competitors, right? We've seen a few cases. So sometimes breaking even, guys, is a win. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you.
Right. That's
You
a good
know,
point.
we have been inundated to the max, right? With just do this 20x, just do this 10x, just do this 5x, right? Instant gratification. And that a lot of times is just not the reality. So you've got to truly look at it as an investment of getting paid back tomorrow, next month, in 6 months, in a year. So always keeping the long game in mind when you're making this investment, because say you're not going toe to toe, you know, you've got a lower market share. What would have happened if you did nothing, right? You might say, well, I didn't spend X amount of dollars in marketing. I would have actually, that would have been profit. Maybe, or you might have lost twice as much if you didn't have that constant effort in keeping you and maintaining those positions, because your competitors, most of them are nice, ladies and gentlemen, right? They're out to outrank you and to take your market share. So I just want to speak those encouraging words, because I've been in the same boat many of times. And I've got to keep that in check. I've got to say, you know what, this is a long game. This is an investment. I might be breaking even, but in 2 years, you know, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, this is my vision. This is my long game. And I know I've got to maintain, right? And sometimes it's about the person that can maintain for the longest that wins, guys, right? It's we're playing chess, not checkers, right?
And
So,
chess, not checkers.
you know, it's just, so should you invest? Everybody's like, Jay, should I invest? Should I invest? Or should I just do this? Yes, you should invest. It's like your light bill. It's the same. It's just a different approach. And maybe next month, there'll be another approach, especially with how fast everything is evolving. Brands that evolve with these features, with AI, they're going to win more visibility. They're going to win more leads, more credibility. Will it happen overnight? No. It may take 2 years. Honest. Just depends on how aggressive you are. Some companies have the investment, have the risk tolerance, have the finances, and believe in it and educate themselves and understand it, and those will be the ones that will invest in it and continue to invest in it, and then will pay just way amount of more dividends back in the future over and over again.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely, Jason. Should you invest? Yes. And we've talked a lot about kind of the AI and SEO and the merging and how they work together. And so really what's working now in this SEO era, like 2025, is you mentioned at first that mobile first site. In the past, you know, it used to be a point and click website, go on a desktop and you could kind of go wherever you want to. But now with phones, and they are the most views, people are searching everything on their phones. You have the ability to dictate that story. You have the ability to dictate exactly what you want to communicate to your audience, because when you're able to scroll on a phone, you start from the top and you have to go to the bottom. And so you can't point and click and go wherever you want. So focus on your website when you're building that and developing that and constantly changing it. Focus on the mobile first and make sure it is fast loading. because people, we don't wait. If it's going to take a few seconds for that page to load, we're going to hop back to Google or our AI, and we're going to find a site that loads fast. And make sure when you're developing content, because content is still one of the ways that's going to help your ranking tremendously, it's got to appeal both to humans, because in the past, how SEO worked, you appeal to the humans. But now that we have AI, we talked about it early, we were found within AI software, within ChatGPT. And so you got to build your content that's relevant to both humans and AI, these algorithms. So that includes like structured list, FAQs on your site, making sure those headings on your website are crystal clear. Your subheadings are crystal clear. And so make sure that your content is embedded, it's easy to cite, and that's what's going to increase your chances of appearing in the AI overviews or these generative snippets when you hop on Google and you see that little AI assistant up top and you're getting your answer there instead of what's popping up on the search. So make sure that you're appealing to both AI and humans. Sounds crazy, but that's where we are in 2025. And I can't imagine where we're going to be in 2026.
Hey, going down the road, hey, Google, I want to listen to a podcast about branding, marketing, and self-help. Go ahead and try it. You're going to get the Love Your Brand podcast. Maybe. Look, Google is listening. They're always listening, right? So that's how it works, guys. We are fighting for that position, and you got to fight for your positions, right? Don't give up. And, I think in our next Pine to What, I think we're going to take a different approach, and we're going to talk a little bit about biohacking. That's a big buzzword, and we're going to look at, how biohacking has grown with Gen Zs, millennials, Gen X. We are the Xers, right? Even the boomers. Guys, over the weekend, I've had conversations with all of them, and they're bringing it up to me. And how is it relevant to you, my people? Is performance, longevity, how you handle stress in the game, how you utilize your performance, how you maximize your time, right? All this is health and wellness and vitality, not only within your marriage, your friends, if you enjoy sports and hobbies, but also in business, right? Performance all the way around. So be on the lookout for that.
One of my favorite quotes, Jason: health is wealth. You look at these guys, you look at entrepreneurs, you look at business owners, the bigwigs, the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs that used to just be these nerdy dudes, running these organizations. And they've invested into biohacking, health, and all these anti-aging, reverse aging things. And their bodies physically goes to show for it. And the more you take care of your health, the more your business will improve. And there is so much statistics that show this is true.
Absolutely. I'll be 46 this year. And look, I feel like I'm 35. So let's go. Let's keep it.
Still playing ball with those 20-year-olds, man.
Still doing it. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I've got some things that I take, but I'm not going to showcase it today. You'll have to tune into the next episode and get a little glimpse at some of the things I do. And yeah, maybe Jay Hill will share a little bit of his regiment and our guests as well. So, in the meanwhile, love your brand, guys.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you next time.
Absolutely. Peace.
Thanks for listening and joining us on the Love Your Brand podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode, and remember, share the love.